like I just played, right?
We'll go ahead and get started with the Indiana press conference. We are joined by IU head coach Terry Moren and student athletes Grace Berger and Mackenzie Holmes. We'll take questions both in person and over Zoom. Please state your name and your affiliation. Please raise your hand when you have a question, and you don't have to wait till somebody has asked their question. Let's work ahead so I can see who has questions out there. We'll start with an opening statement from head coach Terry Moren and then take questions for student athletes. So Terry, if you want to go ahead.
Well, first of all, hats off to a great Princeton team. They had a great year. They're a great team. They're well coached. And they were terrific today. They really were. And we had just enough to get the win tonight. They were great defensively. I don't think that these guys, any of us felt like we were getting anything easy over there on the sideline, especially I thought it picked up their defense in the second half. As I said to our guys, if I told you that they got 20 more shots than we did and we still won the game, would you believe that? And they said, yeah, I would, or that we would. And then we turned the ball over a little bit too much than we like. But again, give Princeton credit. But really happy for our group. Want to say, shout out to Hoosier Nation. Thanks to Scott Dolson and Maddie White and everybody that was responsible for making sure there were a lot of people in the stands. I do think I think tonight was our crowd willing us to this win. And so they're going to share as much in it as we are. And so really, really grateful that we had our fans tonight inside the hall. It wasn't pretty for us, but these guys have been through a lot throughout the season. They're a veteran team. They're an experienced team. If there's time on the clock, we always give ourselves a chance, to win games. And I thought our experience, our maturity, and the fact that we have vets out there on the floor tonight really showed up in a big way.
We'll take questions in the room and also on Zoom. If you have a question on Zoom, please indicate that by using the raise hand feature. In the room, we'll bring the mics around, and let's start in the front row here.
Matt Cohen, Indy Star. I guess for both Mackenzie and Grace, that was quite the scene at the end of the game. They're running up in the student section. Mackenzie, you were the first one up there. Can you guys take us through that scene and that moment after the game, kind of from your eyes?
I want them to know how much we appreciate them being there and showing up tonight. And I went up to Coach Moore and I'm like, can we go thank them? And she's like, yeah. And then I ran over there. I was like, you know what? Screw it. I'm going to go run up and I'm going to go high five them and make them feel like they're part of this victory because they are. We couldn't have done this without them. And I want them to keep showing up for us. I know this is our last game in the hall, but next season we want the stands packed with students, and they really showed up tonight, and I'm super thankful for that.
We'll go in the front row here.
Tyler Tashman with the Hoosier Network. Grace, can you just go through what you saw on the play where you hit the layup to go ahead?
Yeah, Coach Rhett drew up a great play to get a smaller player switched off on me. So then, I was just focused on getting my head down and getting to the rim as quickly as I could. And Nikki set it up perfectly for me, got me going downhill, and then I got to the rim. So Coach Rhett, credit to him for drawing up a great play.
We'll go Audrey and then Seth. Amanda, sorry.
Amanda Foster, Indiana Daily Student. When you guys were trying to defend against Princeton, their last play down in front of the student section, I'm sure everything was crazy loud. Right before Allie's steal there, what was it like trying to figure out what your defensive play was going to be? What was the goal, and how did you kind of work through the environment and everything?
I think we were up by 2 at that point, so the main thing in our minds is just not give up a 3. I know they have a lot of really good 3-point shooters on their team, so that was the main thing. Nikki was out there pressuring the ball, so we were confident that she would set our defense, and she did just that. Forced her to rush a little bit, and then Mac and Alex stepped over and helped, and made it really hard for her to make a play. So it was just team defense, and we were confident in our defense going into that play.
Good.
Seth Taub, Herald Times. For both of you, you had a double-digit lead in the third quarter, and then Princeton, was locked in on defense all day. But especially in that third quarter, held you guys to 6 points. What are you guys telling each other on the court as, they start to come back in the game? And, I guess how do you kind of pick yourselves back together and make the plays you needed to?
Yeah, I don't know what, we were coming out of a media timeout, and I'm like, they made their run, it's time for our run. And I think that, we knew they were going to make a run. They're a really good team. So it was just a matter of kind of just not freaking out. And we're, like Coach Moren said, we're a veteran team. So we've been in these positions before, honestly, whether it's in practice, playing against our black squad, or whether it's in a game. And we've been in these situations. So I think we were ready and didn't panic when they started to make a little bit of a run.
We're going to go in the back next, and then we'll come back to the center.
Driving down here on Saturday, talking to an IU alum, and he's got 3 young girls. And he said, hey, my young girls are watching the IU women. What do you say to these young girls out there that aspire to be you and want to be you?
I think first of all, that's, really touching anytime we see little girls. Whenever we have fans, it means a lot, but those little girls, I think, just hit us a little bit different because, we were all those little girls. It doesn't feel like that long ago looking up. I know how much they look up to us and how much we mean to them. So, just trying to be a good role model for them, obviously. If we all got here not by talent, but just by working hard and believing in ourselves, and I think, they can do the same thing, just seeing us and trying to be us and working hard, and they can achieve it as well.
Go second row.
Haley Jordan, Sports Illustrated. For Grace, your ball handling skills were really impressive today. I don't know if you could hear, but every time you did an around the back dribble, the crowd would just erupt. I'm curious how much you work on your ball handling skills in practice in the off season.
Well, my ball handling skills weren't as good today as they usually are, but that's been, growing up. I was told that if I could handle the ball, there's always a spot for me on the team by my dad. So, just 10 minutes a day, every single day growing up, that's what I did, and I still do it. I have the same routine that I had when I was 7 years old that I do before the game now. So just consistent work at it. It's kind of, effortless for me now.
Front row.
Steve Bittenbender, Louisville Courier-Journal. Grace, getting this win and being able to advance now to the Sweet 16 again, can you kind of put that into words, what that feeling's like, and, being able to get the win for your teammates that are graduating and moving on?
It's unbelievable. Playing for IU means everything for me. And I remember 4 years ago we were just struggling to even get in the tournament, and then we got that win, and it was huge for us. So now to see us get to the Sweet 16 2 years in a row, it's just really special, and it's something that never gets old. And I just hope that we can keep going for our seniors.
Center.
Yeah, Kevin Brockway, CNHI. Mackenzie, just in terms of for you to battle through this kind of season adversity, what does it mean for you personally to get to this level again and to help this team get to the Sweet 16?
Anytime I get to step on the court with these girls is a major blessing, and I'll never take that for granted, especially, after, getting hurt. It made me put into perspective how much playing means to me, and not only playing, but just playing with these girls in specific. I love them all so much, so just every time I step on the floor, I'm super grateful, and like I said before, I'll do whatever it takes.
We can go front row left.
Just for either of you guys, that was Allie Paprick's last home game, and to have her have a scene like that in her last home game, I guess, what has she meant to you guys over these years that you've been with her, and what was it like to then see her have that moment in her last time here?
Go ahead.
There's nobody that deserves it more than Allie Paprick. Obviously, because of the player she is and what she's done for this program on the court, that kind of speaks for itself. But, the person she is off the court, we talk about it all the time, but it really is true. Just how she's, taken every single one of us under her wing and allowed us to have individual success. She's put, the team over herself 100% of the time and sacrificed for, others on the team to shine as well. And so she's just a complete team player. She does everything she can to win. So, we want to work really hard for her, our leader, and, give her as many wins as we can.
Front row center.
For either of you, Alexa was the one who, hit the key free throws to kind of seal the game. What were you telling her as she's heading to the line there? And, just how clutch was that moment?
Yeah, Alexa and I shoot free throws on that specific rim every single day, like during practice. So when we break up to shoot free throws, that's Lex and I's hoop. So I was like, Lex, you got to make, this is our hoop, you got to make these. I had no doubt that she was going to step up and knock those 2 free throws down.
Front row left.
Mackenzie, I know that Grace's competitiveness has been talked about before. Are there just any memories that stick out in your mind from practice or weight room that just kind of speak to her competitiveness?
I mean, Grace is competitive in everything that we do, whether it's conditioning in the summer or, I mean, in the summertime, what sticks out to me is when we're playing 2-on-2 against our assistant coaches during workouts. We get super competitive during that, I would say. It gets a little chippy. But yeah, I mean, Grace is just an all-around competitor, and she's a winner too. So to be able to play alongside her is great, and to get another chance to do that is also really special.
We have time for one more for the student athletes. We'll go front row.
Yeah, Grace, you talked about this a little bit, but the defense at Princeton threw at you tonight. Looked like they were really trying to limit your opportunities to get the ball in scoring position. How frustrating was that, and what adjustments did you look to make, your teammates look to make, as the game progressed?
I think, first of all, for all of us, we've played in what I think is the best conference in the country, so we've seen pretty much everything. Mac's seen everything, I've seen everything, and all of us have seen everything. There's certainly, I heard they were a really good defensive team, but I think, once I got in that first half, I kind of, really realized it for myself, how good they were, how aggressive they were, how long they were. So, credit to them. They definitely made everything hard for me. But, like I said, I have really good teammates, so that kind of makes my life a little easy.
That's all the time we have for questions for the student athletes. Ladies, you're dismissed. Thank you. We'll now continue with questions for head coach Terry Moren. We'll start here, front row left.
Terry, I wanted to ask you the same question on that final scene. I guess from your eyes, being almost tackled by Allie Paprick at the scorer's table, hoisted up in the air. What was that moment like for you? In that scene?
I was thinking about Allie and all the seniors, Lex, Grace Wagner, Nikki, on my way home from shoot-around today. And when I think about Tyra Buss and Amanda Cahill, we won the NIT, how cool is it that your last game that you play in the hall, you win, and it's something extra special, right? So you win the NIT, and then obviously today with those 4 seniors, we're making another trip to the Sweet 16. But but Allie, I think Grace said it the best. I mean, she's been everything for our program. She's our leader, off the court, on the court, and she's a terrific competitor. She is a great human being. She pours into her teammates, and she makes everyone around her better. And I think that's including her staff, too. Now, she wants to be a coach, so she's curious always. She's willing to watch extra film. She wants to be in the gym. And so I think this is a profession that suits her quite well at some point when she's done playing. But I will say this, nobody is more excited for Allie Patberg than her teammates are and her staff.
We'll go second row right.
Yeah, Terry, Rick Bozich, WDRB in Louisville. Was the call you made on that last play for exactly what happened, and why did you decide to go to Grace?
Well, because she's Grace, right? We had been trying to get she and Mac in the 2-man game, especially in the second half. And again, credit Princeton. They just made it so incredibly hard on us. They have great length. They're very aggressive. She credited, so how we divide up our staff, Coach Box oversees us defensively, and then Rhett has any special situations. And so that was a special situation. And so he always checks in. Is this who we want the ball, in Grace's hands? And we always just kind of laugh and say, well, of course, we want her to go make the play for us. And she did. And it was a big time, but you guys have all been around sports. Big time players make big time plays. And that's exactly what G did today for us.
We can go to the back row. Mike?
Terry, Mike LaPresti with NCAA.com. When you have so many players who have invested so much of their lives into a sport and don't want it to end, how powerful is that when you get into a position where you have to win or it's going to end?
Right. Well, it is a both powerful and stressful, because you as a coach don't want it to end either, right? So, although we've not been a team that's ever, talked about, well, we have, but we think it's a privilege to have the pressure that we have, right? And so you rely and you trust on your vets and your experience, and you try to will them, to the finish line. And, our job over there as coaches down the stretch was just to keep giving them good juice, and telling them that this was our game to go win. But we had to figure out how to go make plays, both offensively and defensively. And some of it was not inside of our offense. It was on broken plays. But I thought, like I said, we did just enough, to get us there, get us to the finish line. But, I don't think any of us want, because they're such a special group. And I've been so blessed to have them the last 2 years, back-to-back seasons, And so we've been together a lot. And we kind of like each other. And so we want to keep this thing going as long as we can.
We'll go front row left.
Tyler Tashman with the Hoosier Network. Coach, when you first started recruiting Grace and watching her play, was there a moment like you realized that she was a really special player? And I guess just what kind of first stood out to you?
Well, I think Haley Askett talked about her ball handling. Sacred Heart is a tremendous high school down in Louisville, and Donna does a great job. She's won multiple state championships. And so just going and recruiting her and watching her, in a practice, the thing that jumps off is just how exceptional she is with her ball handling and the ball in her hands. I remember sitting there thinking she dribbles, the ball way better than any guy that I have right now on my roster. And again, credit her. She's a worker, and she is she's in the gym constantly trying to get better. And the one area that she knows that she has to continue to work on is her consistency outside the arc. But I'll tell you what, the other 2 levels that she has at getting to the rim and her pull-up jumper is something really special.
Second row, center.
Yeah, Coach. I know how much you pride yourself on defense. You have to get one last defensive stop at the end of the game. Take us through that out of that timeout. What are you telling them? Just no threes and the whole.
No threes. Keep your man in front. Level them off. At that point, Nikki, you don't have to be, stab and miss. Just 10 toes to 10 toes. And so, and then the last thing was just we got a rebound. There was a possession there, maybe back-to-back possessions, but there was one possession that they had to have had 3 to 4 offensive rebounds back-to-back, which are backbreakers. And so, that was the last message that we sent to them. It has to be a hard 2 that, and it contested, but then we have to get the rebound.
Front row left.
Coach, was it better to have a close game, even though it's not great to have a nail-biter like that when it's going to be close the rest of the tournament, probably playing top teams? Does it help to have a nail-biter like this to prepare you when you play at UConn or play someone like that?
None at all. No. Are you crazy? I want that game that, the other day. I like that one, right? But it's, Ari, we've been in a lot of close games. And as I said, if there's time on the clock, we're always going to give ourselves a chance. But again, give credit to Princeton because they are terrific. And so they gave us everything we wanted and more. And we made just enough plays under the minute mark or 2-minute mark to win the game today. And we're really, really fortunate.
Front row, right?
LC Norton, Indiana Daily student. So last year, this team was able to go on a run all the way to the Elite Eight, and they weren't able to do it in front of the fans. The arenas were empty. But this year, all that's come down to it. I mean, when the Sweet 16 announcement came over the PA system, and then the fans just roared, everyone's on their feet. The entire team, staff, players is just in the center of the court. What does that moment just mean for the staff, the players, and all the fans in the arena, and all the fans watching on television?
Well, it's obviously terrific, because it's just another goal that we had set out. We wanted, to make another deep run in the tournament. But it's hard. It's so hard to win. And I think there was probably excitement. I think there was more relief on our end as a coaching staff because we didn't feel like we played our best basketball, but we made enough plays. But to be able to go to back-to-back Sweet 16s is special. But if you talk to that group in the locker room right now, the job's not done. Right, we want to go deeper than just a Sweet 16.
Front row center.
Terry, your team has battled adversity all season through Mac's injury, the COVID pause, and the packed schedule at the end of the season that kind of hurt you guys at the end. How much does going through all of that help you in a game like this where Princeton comes back and really puts the pressure on you? Well,
I think it paid big dividends. As I said to them at the beginning, before they went out, we talked just about the toughness, the fight that we've had all season because we've been through a lot of different, moments and times of some adversity. But I do think this. I think it has made us stronger. We've always been connected, but we're more connected than ever. Our chemistry has always been off the charts, but again, there's just a toughness about this group, and we knew that it was going to be a fight tonight, but we wanted to make sure that we brought the fight to Princeton, and we dictated how the game was going to be played. And by God, we had to go all the way down to the end with them, but at the end of the fourth quarter, it's the fight that won the game, and they've showed that throughout. So I don't know that. Anybody was surprised by that, but I'm really, really proud, of just how they've handled themselves throughout this entire season because it's been really impressive.
We're going to go front row. Steve.
Yeah, Terry, on the play with Grace there out of the timeout, it seemed like there was a play earlier, a couple minutes earlier, where Grace was driving and had the shot blocked. Was there any adjustment that you guys looked to make, that kind of the second time around to, free her up a little bit more?
I think what we were trying to do, and she said it, we run that little action for her, usually after a free throw, and really we were trying to get the switch and get a smaller player to guard Berger, knowing that she could get downhill. The one thing about Grace, the reason we put the ball in her hands so often is because she elevates, and she usually is our best at getting a shot off. And so, Nikki was to come off of a little ghost action, and it was just set up for Grace to get the switch that we wanted and go down the rail. And she spun back and, got all the way to the rim. If you ask Grace, she thought she got fouled, but, she should have been at the free throw line. But nonetheless, it was set up perfect, and she's been in those scenarios before where she's had to make big plays. At Purdue, she had to come up with, going down the stretch there, some real big shots that she hit, and so, like I said, Grace does what Grace does.
That's all we have time for. I'm sorry, we've got to get going. Thank you, Coach.
Awesome, thank you.
have quiet in the room, please? We're now going to go ahead and get started with Princeton. We have head coach Carla Berube, Abby Myers, and Julia Cunningham. We'll start with an opening statement from Coach and then take questions for student athletes. Coach, if you'd like to start.
Yeah. First off, thank you to Indiana. What an amazing weekend, and the fans were incredible. So it was a incredible atmosphere and environment. So hats off to you all here. Yeah, it's never easy to see your season end. We had a great year, and I'm extremely proud of my team, my staff, the university. So much support, the Ivy League. We just came up a little short against a really strong team, a great Indiana team, but we fought to the end, and I can't ask for anything more from my players. It was a great battle.
We'll now take questions for the student athletes. Please raise your hand. We'll bring the microphones around. Front row left.
Abby, you had Ali Paprick on you for most of the game. I guess what kind of a matchup was that? I know something that I think you made your first three was your final shot of the game. I guess what kind of a matchup was? Oh, sorry, I apologize. I guess you against Ali Paprick. I guess what kind of a matchup was that? What did she do defensively that seemed to work so much?
Well, I think we are both kind of veterans in the game. I know this is her 7th year, and for me, it's kind of like my 5th year going on to the 6th. So, yeah, we both have experience in NCAA tournament games and just tough situations. And I think that she's a great player on a really great team. And you can just tell like her 7th year, she's definitely a leader on that team, and it showed tonight. But yeah, I think it was just a competitive matchup. It was fun. I had a lot of fun out there, and a lot of emotions were flying everywhere. But yeah. At the end of the day, she made some good points down the stretch, and I think that helped them. Yeah.
Questions for the student athletes? Yep. Center.
Yeah, Kevin Brockway, CNHI. For both of you, what was it like to kind of make that second half run? And what would you say that you guys did that really frustrated and that threw Indiana off that allowed you to get back in the game down 14?
Yeah. We came out of the halftime room. We always write 0-0 on the board no matter what the score is. So, we came out ready to play. We knew we were down 10 at half, and I think we kind of went back to our principles defensively. We got a lot of stops, got a lot of hands on the ball there, and, we were able to push, and that always leads us to our best offense. So that was definitely the plan. I think in the third quarter, we held them to 6 points in the third quarter, and that's like a big time number, That's a Big Ten team that can score the ball, and holding them to 6 points in a quarter is big for us, and that was our game plan, and that kind of allowed us to crawl back into the game there.
We're going to go to a question on Zoom next. Jen Hatfield. Jen, go ahead.
Thank you. Jen Hadfield with the Next. Just curious for you both, I know the emotions are raw right now, but, for folks who maybe haven't watched you all season, do you feel like you made a statement this weekend playing, on this national stage and doing what you did tonight?
I hope we did. Yeah, we just really wanted to, go to the Sweet 16 and but yeah, I hope that we left our mark and our legacy, and obviously it's unfinished business, and I know that the team next year, the coaching staff, they're super excited, and just I feel like we kind of lit the fire onto next year's goals, and but yeah, I hope that we left our mark and really open people's eyes to the Ivy League, because it's a growing league. It's really competitive, and there's a lot of ballers that are coming out of that league. So,
yeah, absolutely. I think this could have been a Sweet 16 or Elite 8 matchup. I think we put Princeton on the map. I think we made some people aware of what we're able to do, beat the SEC champs, and then come in and have a 1-point game with the Big Ten runner-up. So I think, for the Ivy League, it's huge. For Princeton, it's huge. I think the mid-majors have just been killing it in this tournament, and they're putting people on notice. So I'm really proud of that. I'm really proud of Abby. I think she's been a huge, huge factor in getting us there and just, making people aware of what the Ivy League's made of.
Additional questions for the student athletes? Yep. Front row, left.
Just following up on that, you guys came in here and there was a lot of smiles as you guys came up here into the media room. Is that why? Just be able to kind of what you guys accomplished and what you all proved kind of on a national stage?
Yeah, I think we have to be proud of what we've done. We worked so hard, and obviously not having like a season last year, we just been working since day one. Every practice, and obviously we pride ourselves in being student athletes. We take our academics very seriously, and for us to just do that, with excellence, and then come into practice and be focused, never complain, and just be our best, and like embrace greatness. I think it's just something to be proud about. So yeah, we're gonna just hold our heads high and be proud of what we've done, but. We're going to let it sting a little bit because we all value winning as competitors, and we're going to be happy with what we've done.
We'll go back to Zoom and Jen Hatfield. Jen, go ahead.
Just curious with the early foul trouble tonight for Abby and Caitlin and Grace, obviously every team says next player up in that situation, but that's a lot easier said than done. So kind of for either of you, what was going through your head in those moments where you knew that, someone other than Abby is going to have to step up, and how did you guys, really hang tough in that moment?
Yeah, I looked at Abby and I was like, please stop fouling. Please, Caitlin, you too. I mean, it is what it is. It's things that are out of our control. So, we went back in there and told them to be smart. We have a lot of faith in them and their defense, but I think Grace did a great job stepping up, scoring big buckets in the first half. And then, again, we're just going to fall back on our defense, hold them to as little points as possible. And, we need other people to step up offensively. And I think we did that in the first half. And then they came back in the second half, and it was a little easier with no foul trouble. So, yeah.
Yeah, I'm just proud of my teammates out there on the court for stepping up, making really big shots. Julia hit a lot of tough ones we needed to, just stop them from getting the momentum. But yeah, proud of my teammates for being relentless out there.
Any additional questions for the student athletes? Ladies, you're dismissed. Thank you.
Thank you.
We'll continue now with questions for the head coach. We'll start with second row center.
Yeah, Kevin Brockway, CNHI. Coach, I could ask Terry this on the defensive side, but the offensive side, you have the ball down 2 and the turnover on that play. Are you looking for a 3 there or 2 there? It looked like Caitlin Chen had a step there and tried to pass it back, or what was your hope on that play?
Yeah, just looking for Caitlin to make a play, whether it was for her own shot. She got caught in the air a little bit there, and so, yes, Abby was coming behind, for an outlet if she did have a shot, and it was a tough play. Credit to Indiana that they defended it well, and those things happen.
Front row center.
As Seth Tao, Herald Times, as you came back in the second half and ended up grabbing the lead, what was the response that you saw from Indiana, and what made them tough to kind of really create any separation on?
Yeah, tough. They had great toughness. I mean, they have great playmakers. It was certainly tough to defend them in the post. Down the stretch, like just getting around Holmes and number 10 Gold, they're big and strong, and of course Berger made some great plays too. We got that lead and then we couldn't extend it. Credit to them. They made the plays. That's what it came down to.
Second row center.
Kevin Vera, the Hoosier Network. What were you telling your team going into that fourth quarter after only giving up 6 in the third? How were you feeling as a coach, and just simply what were you telling your team?
just keep getting stops. You know, that's what got us here in the first place, right? Is our defense. And you know, we gave up 39 points in the first half, and that's not really who we are. So we really, you know, the foul trouble definitely hurt us. We just needed to get back to the basics. And yeah, really proud of the effort in that third quarter. You know, they actually scored a little bit in the beginning of the third, and then we really, you know, put the clamps down and did a great job. So yeah, I'm really proud of the way we came back and fought, and yeah, just kept saying, like, just keep getting stops. Those will hopefully lead to easier buckets down the other end. And you know, Indiana was tough. They played great defense as well.
Front row left.
Coach, did you like this being like in front of 9,000 opposing fans, or would you prefer it on a neutral site? And do you think that affected the outcome, or what would your preference be, to play the entire tournament on a neutral site, or do you like how you get to host if you're a high seed?
Neutral would be better, I would think. I mean, we love the environment. I'm not gonna lie, like it was incredible. But yeah, I mean, but again, like if you have this incredible season, maybe you do deserve to host. But I think I'm on the side of let's make it a neutral site, like the men.
Back row center.
Coach Nick Jenkinson, South Central Indiana News Network. Ellie Mitchell had a great game rebounding with 15 boards. She just seemed in the second half that she could not be stopped on that offensive glass. Just talk about what she means to your team.
Ellie is, you know, she's just unbelievably relentless. Like nothing stops her. She has a knack of reading the rebounds, and then she has this just drive to go after every board, every loose ball, diving. I mean, you know, diving out of bounds to save a ball. Like she's everywhere. So, yeah, she's like the heart of our defense. She was Ivy League Defensive Player of the Year for a reason, because, you know, she's, you know, she gives it her all on every single play. And you know, when she plays like that, which is very consistent, she makes her teammates, you know, play at another level too. So, yeah, really proud of her effort tonight, but that's what we see day in and day out. You see that in practice. Sometimes I'm like, Ellie, like, let's not get hurt, but you know, that's how she works.
Front row, Steve.
Yeah, Carla, Steve Bittenbender, Louisville Courier-Journal. Grace got 15 points, but it seemed like there was, you know, definitely stretches during the game where your defense was able to limit her and neutralize her somewhat. What worked there, and then does it make it more frustrating that she was able to get to the bucket there, at probably the biggest play of the game?
Mm. I mean, she's incredibly gifted and strong and smart, and you can see she's got a really high basketball IQ. She uses her body really well, protects the ball very well, and sort of just like uses the defense to her, to her success. And yeah, I mean, she's a hard guard, but I think our team did a pretty good job with her. And you know, she just made a couple plays, that. I'd love to see that the foul at the end too on her arm, but yeah, I mean she's a really great player.
We'll go to a couple on Zoom. Jen Hatfield. Jen, go ahead.
Coach, I'll ask you the same thing that I asked the players. Do you feel like you guys made a statement this weekend, and then specifically looking at the box score with Abby being held below her average? Do you feel like you showed something with the supporting cast and how they stepped up as well?
Yeah, absolutely. I do think we, showed the national, on the national stage that we can compete with anyone. We have players, we have very talented players that work really hard and play together and play for each other and have a lot of fun. I think it's a great recipe, to show everyone out there that Princeton basketball and the Ivy League is really great. So, yeah, just proud of us, and hopefully we keep taking off.
We'll go to Skip Daly on Zoom. Skip, go ahead.
Skip Daly with South Central Indiana News Network. Coach, congratulations first off on an amazing season.
Thanks, Skip.
As a Connecticut native, I had the privilege to watch you play back in that 95 championship year with a completely filled Gamble Pavilion. What's it like now to come back as a coach in front of in a storied arena like Assembly Hall, playing, coaching in front of an electrifying crowd?
It feels amazing. I feel very, very fortunate to be coaching the game I love, be coaching a group of incredible women, incredible student athletes, and representing Princeton University. I, have to pinch myself sometimes that I'm able to do this for my job. So, yeah, I'm glad that they had this experience. I was fortunate to have experiences like this as a player, and we talked about it. They're going to be really hungry to get back to games like this. We did mention we would like to host in Jadwin if possible next year at our place. But I do think just having these first round and second round games. And playing, two really, really good teams and showing that we, we can compete with anyone. I think it shows, everybody out there that, Princeton basketball is really great.
Any additional questions for Coach? Front row center.
You played your college ball at UConn, and I mean, you said you've seen the top of the sport here. From what you know about the sport as a whole, what's it take to get a program like Indiana that is not a traditional women's basketball power to the level that it's at right now?
Recruiting, great coaching. I think they're doing a great job. I think, Terry's doing an amazing job. They play at a really high level, and they've had a tremendous season. So it's keep getting in players like the ones she has, they can compete with anybody, out there. It was great. It was great to play against such a great, great team and great program. And I hope they, keep having great seasons like this.
That's all the questions we have time for. Thank you, Coach.
Okay.